All right, let's dive into one of Shakespeare's most complicated and, honestly, most controversial plays, The Merchant of Venice. This is a story that's all about love, sure, but it's also about prejudice, and it hinges on one of the most terrifying contracts you can possibly imagine.
I mean, what a question, right? It's pretty shocking. But that question is right at the brutal, beating heart of this play. We're not just talking about money here. We're talking about a debt that could literally be paid with a man's life. And that one single, grim idea sets the stage for everything that comes next.
And yeah, that brutal demand, it's the engine for this entire story. The whole conflict is wrapped up in this bond, this contract that pushes law, justice, and just basic human decency right to the absolute edge.
Now, at the center of all this is Shylock. He's the guy demanding that pound of flesh. But here's what makes this place so fascinating. He is not a simple mustache-twirling villain, not at all. He's a man who's been marginalized by society, and his demand for revenge, well, it's fueled by years of being treated horribly. He really forces us to ask some tough questions. Is he a monster, or is he a man who's just been pushed to his breaking point? Okay, so to really get a handle on a character like Shylock and the choices everyone makes, you have to understand the world they're in. Shakespeare sets the play in two totally different places, and this contrast is absolutely key to the whole story.
So on the one hand, you've got Venice. Think of it as the world of business. It's all about rigid contracts, financial risk, cold, hard law. It's a place where money does the talking. But then, on the other hand, there's Belmont. This place is the total opposite. It's a world of love, harmony, and human connection. It's a place where mercy is valued way more than money. And this clash between the two settings, that's really the play's central battle, commerce versus humanity. And the people navigating these two worlds are our key players. There's Antonio, the merchant himself, who is so loyal he's willing to make that terrible deal for his best friend, Bassanio. Bassanio is the one who needs the loan, so he can travel to Belmort and try to win the heart of the brilliant and wealthy Portia, who is our amazing heroine. So you have these characters in these two different worlds, and they all collide over one thing: the bond. What starts as a simple financial agreement quickly becomes a symbol for the play's deepest, most difficult question: this clash between two powerful ideas: unbending absolute justice and compassionate mercy. The way we get to the crisis is actually pretty simple, and that's what makes it so tragic. First, Antonio gets the loan from Shylock. Then, the bond is sealed with that horrifying condition. And finally, disaster strikes. Antonio's ships, his entire fortune, are lost at sea. All of a sudden, he can't pay. The bond is due. And this puts everybody, including us in the audience, in an impossible spot. The whole thing boils down to this: what do you do now? Do you have to follow the letter of the law no matter how cruel it is? Or is there something higher, something more important, like mercy? This all comes to a boil in the famous trial scene. It is the big, climactic showdown where law, vengeance, and mercy all face off in a Venetian courtroom. Everything is on the line. And just when it looks like all hope is lost, a new player enters the game. A brilliant young lawyer shows up who is actually our heroine, Portia, in disguise. She comes from the world of Belmont, ready to challenge the rigid, masculine world of Venetian law. She starts off not by attacking the law, but by appealing to something bigger. She gives this incredible speech about mercy, arguing it's a divine quality, something that's greater than any king's power or any legal document. But Shylock, he's not having it. He wants justice, the literal words on the page. So here's where Portia's genius really shines. She decides to give Shylock exactly the kind of rigid justice he's been demanding. First, she agrees, yep, the bond is legal. But then she finds the loophole. The bond allows for a pound of flesh, but it says nothing, not a single word about blood. She completely turns the tables, warning Shylock that if he sheds even one drop of blood, he'll be guilty of a crime punishable by death. She uses his own stubborn logic against him and traps him completely. He's defeated by the very thing he demanded. So why? Why, after more than 400 years, are we still talking about this play, arguing about it? What is its lasting legacy? Well, the takeaways are just as relevant today as they were then. The play is a powerful critique of any system that has no room for mercy. It's a huge warning about the dangers of prejudice, and it makes a strong case that love and loyalty can be stronger than greed. Plus, it gives us Portia, one of Shakespeare's smartest, most capable heroines, who smashes the gender norms of her time, and you could argue ours too. and you can see it really clearly in this visual breakdown of the play's themes. I mean, sure, prejudice and love are big parts of it, but look at justice versus mercy. It takes up 40%. That really confirms what we've been talking about. This one conflict is the true engine of the play, driving everything from the moment the bond is signed to the final verdict in that courtroom. It's the question that defines every single character. And that brings us right back to the question that has haunted audiences for centuries. After everything we've seen, what do we make of Shylock? Is he just a cruel villain demanding a barbaric payment? Or is he a tragic victim, a product of a society that has dehumanized him, now lashing out with the only power he has left? The play never gives you an easy answer, and honestly, that's exactly why it's so powerful and why we're still wrestling with it today.